All right, everybody, we're going to get started. Just want to remind everybody that the replay will be available in the Facebook group for those who weren't able to join us live. For those who are able to join us live, please do not hesitate to put your questions out there, and I will be more than happy to answer as many of them as I possibly can. So with that said, let's get started. And like I said, if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. So again, today we're going to talk about the path to our new normal and what that's going to mean for dental offices out there and across the country. Things are going to be different when we get back. So we need to get back to that new normal. So what we need to do to survive right now, all right, we are looking at probably another 4 to 6 weeks until things are starting to lessen. There are some states that have pushed open dates back to June. Some are still aiming for May. I know one that the governor asked for a 70-day extension on the closure of dental offices. Was denied by the state Senate, but the state Senate gave 30 days and said at the end of the 30 days, we'll reevaluate and possibly offer another 30. So we know that's going to happen. So what do we do now? What do we do in the meantime to survive? There are grants everywhere. Okay, if you Google COVID-19 grants, there are grants everywhere. I've gotten 4 emails in the past 3 days from Verizon, who my company cell phone policy is from, offering small business grants of up to $25,000 each. Excuse me, all you have to do is apply. Cities, states, and counties are offering grants all over the place. Now, remember, these are grants. Grants don't have to be paid back. They are not loans. They are not part of the payroll protection program. They are not the emergency, economic injury disaster loan from the SBA. These are grants. Facebook has a grant program. Other vendors are offering grants programs. Insurers, many of the deltas are starting to offer. Now, these are assistance programs. These are advances, but you can get a percentage of your normal monthly reimbursement from Delta as an advance. It will be taken off of your payments for the remainder of the year. I haven't seen exactly how they're planning on doing that, what the percentages are going to be, how that's going to work, but Delta is offering that. ADOM is offering free memberships for anyone who wants to join to continue education, learn, attend the annual function in Boca in September. Hopefully it's still going to go on. There are grants everywhere. Google it, look them up. There are tons out there. If you have Verizon as your cell phone or business phone, apply for their small grant. It can't hurt to apply for as many as possible. And again, these are grants. These are not loans, so you don't have to pay them back, other than the Delta stuff. We talked about this earlier in the week. I'm going to say it again because it is important. Stay in contact with your team, with your patients, with your vendors. Stay in touch with everyone. This morning, I have spoken to 5 of my vendors. We had our Zoom meetings this morning, constantly staying in touch with the team through group texting and conference calls and team calls, Microsoft Teams, not my team. Patients, stay in contact, shoot them out emails, let them know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what the governor just did. This is what's happening. This is what it means for our office. This is what it means for your dental care, okay? They're being told now, we are non-essential. Dentists are non-essential. They've been told that by the government, by the closures, by the emergency only. That's going to make it much harder to get them to come back when this is all over, because now not only is their insurance company telling you you're not essential, but the government has told them you are not essential. So, we're going to have to work twice as hard to get those people back in. Cut your overhead, reduce expenses, continue generating revenue where you can. Okay. Keep collecting on the outstanding claims. Please, please, please. Continue generating revenue where you can. If you are an owner, this is not a vacation for you. Owners should be putting in full-time hours into finding help, into applying for loans, getting grants, whatever they need to do, collecting those outstanding insurance claims. Okay. This isn't time off. We should be putting time into applying for grants, applying for loans if we need to. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, continue looking for help. Now is the time to start posting help wanted ads. This is a big thing. You are going to need help when this all starts again. We're going to get into that in a little bit. So, what are we expecting when we open? Okay, you're going to lose team members. That's not a question at this point. You're going to lose team members due to one of two things. Either your employees who are currently laid off, who you choose not to recall. And remember, that is a viable option. If you have laid off your team, as you should have at this point, if you are not working full time, if you are seeing only, 2 or 3 emergency patients a week or whatever it may be, your team should be laid off. Remember, when someone is laid off, that is a separation of employment. It is a no-fault separation of employment, in this case, due to the COVID-19 closures and the pandemic that's going on. But legally, those employees are currently separated. They are unemployed. Okay, you do not have to bring those employees back. They do not have to be the same employees you rehire when all this is over. So if you have been thinking about making a change, about, maybe I should let that employee go, maybe they don't, they're not in with my office philosophy, they're not a good fit for my office. If they are laid off, now is the time to let them go. You've already let them go when you laid them off. You're just choosing not to recall them. And now is the time to look for their replacement. There are going to be lots and lots of job openings, because in addition to employers deciding, that's not the person who shares my office philosophy, I'm not going to recall that employee. There are employees, and believe me, I am seeing discussion after discussion after discussion in the dental groups of employees who are saying they are not coming back. They don't feel comfortable ever working in a dental office again. They don't want to be with patients, the PPE, whatever the reason may be. The employer is expecting them to actually come into the office for 4 hours a week, or whatever the reason may be. You are going to have a loss of employees who choose not to return to this position. Many of them, and I have seen hygienists, I have seen assistants, I have even seen associates talking about changing fields. This is when it's going to happen, okay? And I truly believe if this isn't your passion, it isn't something you should be doing right now anyway. So, be prepared. Start running some help wanted ads. Believe me, you're going to get applications. You're going to get a ton of them. When we open, all of your bills are going to be due. Okay, electric companies, phone companies, the utility companies, water, gas, sewer, et cetera, they're all deferring payments. But those deferred payments are going to come due. We have to be prepared for that. This isn't just the electric company saying, hey, we'll give you free electric for the month of April and May because you were closed. You're still going to have a bill. That bill is going to be due when you open, when these deferred payments are over. Those bills are still going to be due. So you have to be prepared to pay them. Payroll, supplies, utilities, all of that's going to be paid. Okay, it's going to have to be paid, as well as new loan payments if you took any loans. Okay, I found out this morning through my bank I was approved for the payroll protection program. I have a call later this afternoon to discuss if I'm going to accept it and what the funding date will be. So, we'll see what happens, but the money is starting to flow now. So if you are going to take out any new loans, please pay attention. And, believe me, I am no expert in the payroll protection program. I know only what I'm being told by my banker that I deal with. But, if you're using it for non-forgivable, if we believe it's actually going to be forgiven, I don't know if I believe that or not. Everything is changing every day. The new loan payments are going to be due as well. So our bills are going to pile up and they're going to be due when we go back to work. Patients, I believe, will trickle back. Some are going to be in a hurry. Some are not. Some are going to be real nervous about coming back into a dental office because the government has spent so much time telling them why it's dangerous to come into an office. And if you think this virus is just going to go from 100 miles an hour to an immediate stop and zero, it's not. People are still going to be concerned about what's happening, about what's going on, about, are those aerosols in the dental office still going to be there even after the pandemic is over? People are still going to have it. So some are going to be nervous. You are going to have patients who are going to lose their jobs and who are going to lose their benefits. Expect delays in those cancellations. Okay. People who got laid off and have elected not to continue their benefits through any COBRA plan are going to lose their benefits. It's just going to happen. There's going to be delays in those cancellations, which means that patient may be terminated as of April 1st, but you do a verification on May 15th and are told, hey, this patient is still active. That's because they're doing retroactive terminations because there will be so many of them. It's going to be impossible for the insurance company to keep up. So you verify eligibility on May 15th, May 18th. They show as eligible. You process the claim, and maybe it gets denied because it was terminated, or maybe you get paid and 3 months later you get a request from the insurance company for a refund check because the policy was retroactively terminated. That happens, okay? Which is why, while you have the time now, look at your financial policies. Make sure they are on point. Make sure you have something in there that says, if your insurance company retroactively terminates your coverage, you will be responsible for payment in full to the office. It's going to happen. Believe me, we see it happen all the time. This is only going to increase that. So please, 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 now is the time. You have time. Sit at home, sit on your computer, put in your hours. If you are an owner, now is the time. You should still be putting in your hours. I am still, even though we are working from home, I am still at my computer at 8 a.m. every morning. There are nights when it's 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I look down and go, wow, I can't believe it's this late already. I got to get to bed. I got to stop. Work has to continue. Systems, training, financial policies, make sure everything is up to date and is on point now. So when we come back, are you going to be busy or slow? That depends on you. Okay. How many dentists out there do same-day dentistry? That's going to become very important. Patient comes in, they're in for recall, they need 3 fillings, let's do them now, or let's do 2 of them now, depending on the quadrant. Let's do what we can. Get it done. Okay, you're going to want to get everything done you possibly can. Your schedule is not going to be back to 100% the day you open. Okay, the chances are very slim. Continue telling patients how important recall visits will be going forward. Create that demand now. Okay, create a demand due to a vision of smaller supply. Okay, and chances are in many dental offices across the country, we are going to have a smaller supply because I'm telling you, hygienists are leaving. They are getting out of the industry. Assistants are leaving and getting out of the industry, not 100%, but I can tell you 10, 15, 20% of hygienists and assistants are not going to come back to work in a clinical setting after all this is over. They don't feel safe, right or wrong. They don't feel safe. They don't feel that they're going to be provided the proper PPE. They don't feel that it's worth the risk anymore. So, our supply is going to drop. The number of available recall appointments is going to drop. So we have to pay attention to that. Same day dentistry is one way that we're going to be able to make up some of that lost income. So we have to accept the fact that you are going to see less patients this year than you did last year. So let's figure out the math for that. Let's figure we're missing 20 working days. I think that's low. I think it's going to be more like double that. But let's say we're missing 20 working days. If an average hygienist sees 9 patients a day, that's 180 less recall visits over those 20 days this year than last year. If an average fee per visit is $221, and this I just took from every one of our clients across the country and averaged it out nationwide, that is a loss of $39,780 plus the restorative fees that come out of each hygiene chair. Okay, we all know hygiene exists to feed restorative chairs. That's why they're there. So if hygiene equals 1/3 of your production, which is what we aim for as an average, from that one hygiene chair, 20 missed working days of one hygienist seeing 9 patients a day at the national average of $221 per visit, including restorative care, you are losing $119,340 in production because of this closure. You're gonna be down. So we have to do what we can to make that up. How you do that is up to you. Okay, again, there is no right or wrong answer here. There is no one size fits all cookie cutter fix. Those days are over. It doesn't work anymore. We have to overcome the losses somehow. How do we do it? When we come back, you're going to work more hours. You're going to work more days. Instead of a 3.5-day work week, are you going to go to a 5-day work week? Instead of 4, go to 5. Instead of 5, go to 6. Instead of working 7.5 hours a day, are you now going to work 9 or 10? It's going to depend on you, your office, your demographics, your dentist, your owner, your team. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but somehow you're going to want to overcome those losses. You also have to save money where you can. Okay, so you're going to have to cut overhead. You're going to have to cut all your overhead. We talked about that on Tuesday in our webinar, cutting overhead, saving money where we can. Are you going to bring on additional staff if that space allows, if you have an extra room, are you going to be able to bring in an extra hygienist to fit in these patients that you're missing out on right now? They're still going to need to get in. They're still going to need to be seen. And now we're pushing everybody back. So, you can only push people back so far. If we have 2 months of cancellations, where are you going to put them? Let's say we open on June 1st. You probably from December already have your month of June booked out. Your month of July is booked out from January. Where are you going to put all the patients you've missed in the past 2 weeks, 2 months? That's what you're going to have to think about. Bringing on some temp staff, adding space. I mean, you can't add space in most cases. Where are you going to put them? So, we have to figure that out. Or are you just going to accept the loss and move on? That's, and again, there is no cookie cutter answer to this, but what are we going to do? How are we going to respond to this? It's something that is going to be different for every business, something that's going to be different for every dentist out there. Everybody, but remember, everybody, every business is having to deal with this. It's not just us. It is every business. I talked to one of my very, very good friends that owns a couple restaurants, and he said his business is down 94% from 3 months ago. From 2 months ago, he's down 94%. He's down to having one of the restaurants open with him, his wife, and his daughter working in it, and that is it. He said on a normal Friday at lunchtime, we would have 15 to 20 employees here working. There's now 3 of us, and they're all my family. So it's not just us, it's everybody. But how you're going to deal with this depends on you. It also depends on what success means to you. Okay, success means different things to different people, especially right now. For some people, success is just maintaining the business that they've had. For others, it's growing the business, even in the midst of everything going on. For other offices, it's just staying open. Just being open and saving your business is success right now. There are some offices who are going through that. And then for others, it's just survival. Okay, I'm hearing more and more and more of people being infected, people testing positive for corona, for COVID-19. It's continuing. I posted on my personal Facebook page 3 weeks ago how many people know somebody who has the coronavirus. I got 190 comments, one of which said yes, the rest all said no. If I did the same thing today, it would be a totally different response. So, for some people, literally survival is their success right now. And that's something we all need to take into account and we all need to think about. So, but what success means to you is different for everybody. What do we have to do? We have to work on our leadership. Okay. When this is all over, we're going to need strong leaders who are going to have to guide the teams. Okay. It's not an option. We're going to need strong leaders who have a strategic recovery plan. Get your systems in place now, especially training. One of the things my management team and I are all working on remotely from home is training systems. Okay, Trainual or, whatever, Kajabi, whatever you want, set up training systems within that. It is so important. Okay, you're going to have some turnover. You're going to have new employees. Get that training in place now so it becomes a system. It's trackable. It's monitorable. and you can see what's going on and who's completed what. Get those in place now. Have a recovery plan. You know, you have to have a strategy of what you're going to do when this is over. With that said, I did this on Tuesday, and within 20 minutes of ending the live webinar, it was full. The first 5 people who email rick@practicemechanic.com, put Zoom as the subject line. We will do a 1-hour, no cost, no obligation, 1-hour strategy session. So just email rick@practicemechanic.com. We will do a 1-hour strategy session to get you back into your office to figure out what success means to you. We'll walk you right through it. That is the end of today. I know it was a little shorter than the normal, but it is Friday, and I know everybody is ready to end their week, work on their systems. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Next Tuesday, we're going to go back to insurance as the topic of our Tuesday, Thursday webinar series. Next Tuesday, we're going to do dealing with rejections. So we're going to talk about how to deal with rejections. We're going to look at some actual EOBs. We're going to look at letters, and we're going to see A, if there is anything, and B, what we can do to fight those rejections. So that'll be next Tuesday, 2 o'clock, same place. I'll be posting the link to that in the Facebook group. In the meantime, please, 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 I look forward to hearing back from you all. Look forward to seeing you all again next week. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I'm always here. Don't forget, send that email over to rick@practicemechanic.com. Put Zoom as the subject line. The first 5 people, I will do a 1-hour strategy call with at your convenience over the next week. So thank you again. I will see you all next Tuesday.